Statistics are very interesting, though. One half of those between 18 and 24, you write in this book, have not moved out of their childhood bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Between 18 and 24,
Mm-hmm.
50%
Yeah.
of the kids still live and have never really left, except maybe to go to
They go to
school, but then they came
school
back.
yeah.
They're living in their childhood bedrooms.
Yeah.
And what percentage of that would you say I'm cool with that? They're finding their path, and what percentage would you say are the stoners in the basement playing video games and, living off their parents who don't know how to tell their kids it's time to move on?
Well, I don't know for sure, but my guess would be maybe 10% are the
So you feel
stoners.
pretty good about it.
Yeah.
10%, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
1 out of every 10 kids going to go bad no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but 139% increase in the ages of 25 through 34 living at home. If we go back to 1970,
Mm-hmm.
percentage of people the age 25 to 34 that were living at home then to now has increased 139%. Now, at that point, do we say, okay, you've had your time to figure out life.
Mm-hmm.
Now or are these the kids who screwed up early on and now they have to move back home out of necessity? How do we feel about that group?
Well, and it's still a small group, even though that has been the most dramatic change since the 70s, since the 60s, even the 80s. But it is still a small group. It's still 17% of young people 25 to 34 who are living at home. Now, they've probably boomerang back.
That's still a small group, though. I mean, I know it sounds small. It's only 17%.
Yeah.
17% of
Yeah.
adults between 25 and 34 are living at home.
Yes, the majority are on the low end of that age
The
group.
25,
Yeah,
26 area.
25s. It really diminishes with every year,
Okay.
which is you would come to expect that.
And I imagine we're talking a lot about, well, there was a divorce and now we're broke or certain things we're trying to get back on track.
Yep.
For those people we set aside, listen, you're trying to figure things out. It's the ones that have not really ever left the nest that we're a little more concerned about. Because by 25, I mean, would you say, listen, you got till you're 25, you got to figure out what you're doing?
Well,
Or-
25. It's the whole path has slowed so dramatically that, to me now, having written this book, I think 25 is pretty young.
Really?
I know, and I know everybody else goes, oh my gosh, but I would say if you're not out by 28, 29, and you're not just back from some kind
Right.
of calamity, that you might need a little kick.
So there's a lot of parents out there going, don't even listen to her. You're not 28, 29. I mean, that's
Well,
think about 100 years ago. What was the life expectancy in the United States?
Right, exactly. We're all living much longer. And that's one thing we say, we're living so much longer. Everything is slowed. Everything is changing. So this path to quote unquote adulthood, and adulthood as we define it, were physical markers. You left home, you got a job, you finished your degree, you married, had kids, and maybe bought a house. All those things used to happen by age 25. Now it's 35. So when you've got 10 more years before you've accomplished those major points of adulthood, then that means everything is slowed down. It's a ripple effect. And we see that in the age, as you age. Everybody, the new 40s, the 40s, the new 30, and every decade we have a new one. So we're all living longer. We're all slowing down our path. And I think, it's indicative of the times we live in. It is not something that parents are doing wrong, and it's not something that children are doing wrong. There's a lot of social forces that have changed in a very rapid time, from the economy, which we're seeing now, most dramatically, but that had been going on since the 70s. Wages for young men with just a high school degree have dropped 35% since 1970. The college gap in work and earnings, those who have a college degree earn increasingly more than those without. So that's just the job market. We have the whole idea of marriage is changed. We're thinking now of marriages in different ways, and we're delaying that much more. And I think that will make for stronger marriages. If you're readier to be married, is that a word? If you've been selective, you've dated for a while, you know what you want,
Right.
and you haven't rushed into it, and so that will probably lead to stronger marriages. And so all these things are slowing down, and it's again the social changes, not the personal choices necessarily, that are guiding this path.
Barbara Ray is the author of Not Quite Adults. Go to notquiteadults.com for more information. Barbara, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.